everybody, my name is Melissa and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I am so happy to have you. I did this video last year and I named it Fall into Romance or Falling into Romance Book Recommendations. So I am not going to repeat those same books because obviously I want to talk about some new books. These are definitely books that are romance heavy and or even just plain out romance, but have like those fall vibes and kind of like cozy feels or even like spooky feels at the same time, or even like books that might make you a little bit uncomfortable. I have 5 books to talk about, so let's go ahead and get started. The first book that I'm going to talk about is one that I recently just purchased, but I have read the first book and I think I read it over on Kindle Unlimited. I'm not sure if it's still on there or not, but that is by the Queen of Amazingness, Katie Robert. This is Court of the Vampire Queen. So Barnes & Noble came out with their own like exclusive version of this book, and it's a bind up of the 3 of them. So I've only read the first one, I never continued on, and in this edition they have like before each one, and the first one is Sacrifice, that's the first book, and then, you know, obviously with the second book there's another print in there as well. And then of course, like, this dedication is amazing. So it says, "To everyone who is Team Damon, Team Spike, and far too into Dmitry Belikov." So obviously I was always Team Damon and I was definitely Team Spike. Whenever I was watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I loved Spike. Spike was my favorite. Oh my god, I was like rooting for him and Buffy to be together forever. Like, that's just what I wanted. But you know, anyways, the first book is the one that I read, Sacrifice, and I do want to continue on with it, but let's go ahead and talk about why you should read this book for the fall. First of all, vampires. Need I say more? So this is a book about a girl named Mina. Mina, Dracula, hello. Mina is half human, half vampire, and her father is a very powerful vampire, high up in politics, and basically in a new political move, he basically like gifts her to this very powerful vampire, and she does not want to be there. You know, obviously she wants to get away from her father, but this book is spicy. Katie Robert always gives you the spice, and this is, I believe, she writes like male, female, male romances, but I think this one has a little bit more to it since there's 3 guys, 1 girl, and there's definitely a little bit of MM in this as well. So if you are looking for something that's gonna give you vampire spice during this time of year, I think picking up this Katie Robert book, even by itself or the bind up, would be really good. I do know that the first one ended up on a cliffhanger. I don't really remember too much about, other than it was like spicy and I was absolutely there for it. So, you know, obviously need to continue on, but obviously if you love Katie Robert, pick up this book for this time of the year. A book that you might see in many other places as well for the fall time is going to be Verity by Colleen Hoover. Okay, so please don't come at me. I am not the biggest Colleen Hoover fan. Like, I've read 3 books by her, loved this one, thought one of them was okay, didn't like another one. This book I loved. It definitely was like, gave me like the ick factor in a lot of different ways, and you don't know who the bad guy is or the, you know, what's going on. To kind of give you a little bit about this story without going into too much detail, because it is a pretty quick short read, and if you haven't already read this book, obviously this is about a girl who is a ghost writer, and she ends up getting hired to ghost write this last book for this very famous like thriller author. So she ends up going to the house where this author has all of her notes and everything, and she finds out that the author is basically kind of like brain dead. She just kind of like does nothing, sits in bed all day and so on and so forth. But her husband and the child are still there, and it's kind of, there's like this spiciness between the husband and the ghostwriter, and you're just like, is this good, is this bad, what's going on, who's the bad guy? Because it makes it seem like it's him, because you're getting like this journal from the point of view of the wife who is like in critical care basically. And it was so good, like the twists and the turns in this book, like I was just like, my jaw was on the floor. I loved this book. I definitely want to do a reread as well, see if there's anything that I might have missed, or if there was any like red herrings that were leading me astray. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book, and even if you're not a fan of Colleen Hoover like myself, I do think this book is well worth it, especially during this time of the year. It gives you all the spooky, creepy vibes. This one has it all. So throwing a little bit of some sports romance into this one, I really have to talk about The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata, who is, as you well know, the queen of slow burn romance. So obviously fall time, it means football season. I don't watch sports. I am not into sports. I will probably never go to a sports game unless I'm dragged there. But I will read about said sports players and enjoy it immensely. So this is about a football player. He is from Winnipeg, and so he needs to get a visa or get citizenship in the US because he plays football here and he's from Canada. So his ex personal assistant has put up with a lot, and she's like, absolutely not. I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, you're just like a POS and I'm gonna do my own thing. So she ends up quitting. He makes a proposal to her to like basically put her through school or help her with her school loans or something like that, in like place to fake date slash fake marry so he can get a visa and citizenship so he can continue in playing in the NFL. So this is so cute. I loved this. It has like that forced proximity because they have to fake date, fake marry, and obviously, you know, has that hate to love because of the fact where she was like, I want to get away from you. I hate working for you. You are like the worst person. You're so picky. But this was so cute. And when they finally got together, it was just magical. This book was long, but totally worth it. If you read it on Kindle, you don't even realize how long the book truly is. Yeah, I really enjoy this one. I think it's a lot of fun. It's definitely one of her more popular ones, but I think it's a great fall time read because, like I said, it is a football romance, and who doesn't love football in the fall? Maybe it's just me because I don't watch sports. All right, so one that I think is also another good one for the fall time because fall means the start of school. So I wanted to talk about The Unrequited by Saffron A. Kent. So this might not be for everyone's taste. This definitely is very taboo in the fact that it is a girl and she deals with some mental health issues, so definitely check trigger warnings before going into this book. But this book, she ends up going to college and she sees this professor and basically is like, love at first sight or love at first obsession or whatever, obsession at first sight, whatever you want to call it. And she ends up kind of like stalking him, and she joins his class and he is married and has a kid. And yeah, it's definitely, like I said, a little taboo, a little kind of like crazy, but I was here for it in all the best ways. So if you like kind of that dark taboo romance aspect, this is a good one to pick up if you've never picked it up. And it's pretty short as well. So I want to say it's on Kindle Unlimited. I can't remember. I might have originally read it on Kindle Unlimited, but I recently picked up a physical copy because I loved it so much. And I wanted to talk more about it with the book in my hand. So that is definitely why I purchased this. But if you are looking for a good kind of like fall time read, this definitely has a campus setting, so that might kind of like make you think of fall. It makes me think of fall anyway. So the book that's probably on everyone's list, and you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about it myself because it is very much a fall read. It's a book that when I was reading it, I was like wanting to put on like the cozy ASMR to read to, kind of like that creepy vibes, especially with this old house and all of the things going on, the stalkers, all of that stuff. And that's going to be Haunting Adeline by H.T. Carlton. If you watched one of my recent vlogs, I talked about how this book was a little bit difficult for me to kind of immerse myself and really get into because of the main character's name. So I didn't give this book 4 stars because of that. I gave this book 4 stars because I did find it to be quite slow. Like the storyline was quite slow, nothing really was happening, but maybe that's kind of the point and why the author did it, because like it's just kind of like that creepiness. This author, she ends up inheriting her grandmother's house, and it's like this super creepy, like gothic Victorian home that's on a cliffside. She discovers this journal from her great-grandmother, and her great-grandmother had a stalker, and so does she. And you get both points of view from the stalker Zaid and our main character Addie, and you get the journal entries from her great-grandmother. So when I've been talking about this more and more through my videos, I kind of have started wanting to pick up the second one to see where it goes, because it does end up on a cliffhanger. But this book is very, very long, and I did feel like it took me a long time to kind of trudge through it. And I don't know if it's because of the slow kind of storyline, or if it was the fact that it was the main character's name that really took me out of the story. So I don't know, I go back and forth if I'm going to continue on with the duet. Since it's only 2 books, I feel like I might as well finish it and have the complete set and, you know, check it off my list and say that I read it. But yes, definitely very, very spooky vibes. This again has those like stalker, it has the creepy house, like it just is, this book is fall, like so good. And I do love the female friendship that is in this book. I love when there are good female friendships that are healthy, and it's not just like one girl on her own and she has no girlfriends, because all girls are like so rude. That wasn't the case. The main girl character has a really great friendship, and I really loved that. So I feel like I'm pretty much talking myself into getting the second book and continuing on. But if you haven't picked this up, it is on Kindle Unlimited, at least when I'm filming this, and it's, you know, so far loving it. Or I did kind of love it. I don't know what I'm saying. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching my fall reading book recommendation video. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna call it. Maybe Falling into Romance Part 2, who knows. But yes, if you've read any of these books or have any recommendations for me, I would love to chat about it, talk about it in the comments down below. And I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day and happy reading. Bye.